Right now, if the temperature in the room dropped a few degrees, or if you heard a sound that genuinely scared you, tiny muscles under your skin would contract, and every hair on your arms would stand straight up. You'd get goosebumps. And here's the strange part. This reaction is doing absolutely nothing useful for you. It's a glitch, a leftover instruction from an ancestor you've never met, still running on hardware you can't turn off. Let's start with the mechanics, because the process is more mechanical than most people realize. Each hair on your body sits inside a tiny pocket called a follicle, and attached to that follicle is a microscopic muscle called the erector pili. When your nervous system triggers a stress response, whether from cold, fear, or even powerful music, it releases a burst of adrenaline. That adrenaline signals the erector pili muscles to contract, and when they contract, they physically pull the hair follicle upright, which raises a small bump of skin around the base of each hair. Multiply that by thousands of hairs across your arms and the back of your neck, and you get the full-body goosebump effect, sometimes called piloerection, which is honestly a fantastic word that nobody uses in casual conversation nearly enough. So why does your body do this? The answer traces back roughly 6 million years to a version of us that was considerably hairier. Think about a frightened cat. Back arched, fur standing completely on end, suddenly looking twice its normal size. That's not decoration, that's a survival strategy. Puffing up your fur makes you look larger and more threatening to a predator deciding whether you're worth attacking. Our distant ancestors, covered in thick body hair, used exactly this mechanism. A threat appeared, adrenaline spiked, the erector pili muscles fired, and a coat of fur puffed outward, making an otherwise vulnerable primate look just intimidating enough to make a predator reconsider. There's a second function layered on top of that one, and it's about temperature, not threats. That same puffed-up fur traps a thicker layer of insulating air close to the skin, the exact same principle that makes a down jacket warm. When your ancestors got cold, this reflex helped trap body heat and keep them from freezing. It's the same reason your dog's fur puffs out in winter, or why a bird fluffs its feathers on a cold morning. Different species, same basic trick. Here's the problem. You don't have that fur anymore. Sometime in our evolutionary history, humans lost the vast majority of our body hair, likely to help regulate temperature while running long distances in hot climates, chasing prey across the African savanna until it collapsed from exhaustion. But evolution is famously bad at deleting old code once it stops being useful. The nerve pathway, the erector pili muscles, the entire goosebump reflex, all of it stuck around, quietly wired into your nervous system, completely disconnected from the fur coat it originally evolved to move. You're left with all the hardware and none of the payoff, a physical reflex firing uselessly beneath skin that's essentially bald. And it doesn't stop at cold and fear. This is where things get genuinely strange, because goosebumps show up in situations that have nothing to do with survival at all. Listen to a piece of music that hits exactly the right emotional note, and you might feel that same prickling wave across your arms. Researchers studying this phenomenon, sometimes called frisson, have found its link to activity in the brain's reward circuitry, the same dopamine-driven system involved in pleasure and anticipation. One study using brain imaging found that peak emotional moments in music actually triggered measurable dopamine release in the same regions activated by food or other rewards. And the goosebumps arrived at almost the exact same moment as that neural spike. Scientists studying this connection have a working theory. The brain's threat detection system and its emotional intensity system appear to share the same physical wiring. A genuinely moving piece of music, an unexpected plot twist, even a powerful memory can apparently trigger the exact same ancient circuitry that once puffed up fur to scare off a predator. just repurposed by accident to signal this moment matters instead of this moment is dangerous. Not everyone experiences this the same way either. Researchers have found that people who score higher on a personality trait called openness to experience report significantly more frequent chills from music, suggesting this reflex might be tangled up with personality and emotional sensitivity in ways scientists are still working to fully understand. So, the next time a horror movie makes the hair on your arm stand up, or your favorite song hits that one perfect chord change and sends a shiver down your spine, remember what's actually happening. You're not malfunctioning. You're running 6 million-year-old software built for a body covered in fur that hasn't existed for tens of thousands of years, firing uselessly under skin that can't do anything with the signal anymore. It's not a bug in the traditional sense. It's a fossil, still moving, buried in your nervous system, activating every single time your brain briefly mistakes a great guitar solo for a saber-toothed cat.